Welcome to another edition of CLaB by Request, where we, the Cook Like a Bastard studio, makes what you want us to do. Today's suggestion comes from a Michael. He's from the Czech Republic, and he's currently living in Massachusetts. And he was saying, you know, over here, he can't find the types of bread he likes. And he finally found a recipe that seemed more like what he's experienced back home. So he sent it us and said, hey, I'd like to see you make it. Like to see you bastardize it, I believe is what he said exactly. So yeah, we're going to make a European-style no-knead bread. And one thing about the no-knead bread is you don't need to do much work because it's pretty simple. Now, it's going to take some time from point A to point B because it sits for about 8 to 12 hours. But let's get started because the clock is running. So you start with 3 cups of flour. I'm using all-purpose flour, but you might use another one if you prefer. And just a little bit of salt, 1½ teaspoons. Now keep the salt here and put that on one side, because the secret is you're going to take your yeast, 1½ teaspoons, only 1½ teaspoons. That's actually less than a full package. You're going to put that kind of on the other side, because for the time being, you don't want to keep those cats together, because they're not going to be all that happy if they met sooner than you want. Okay, so I'm going to take 2 teaspoons of caraway seeds. You can put these guys all over the place. And now at this point, now Michael said, a Czech baker said if you put some grated potato in, it would last longer. But we decided that was kind of redundant because this bread is so good, it's going to be gone right away. So after you've put in all your ingredients, I'm mixing it up. I'm using a chopstick. Why a chopstick? Well, I think of it more as an international food that way. So I'm just going to mix all these guys in here. And I have 1.5 cups of water that I'm going to mix in as soon as I get these guys mixed up. Make a little pond in the middle. Dump in my water, some of my water. Continuing to mix it with my chopstick. If you want to use something else, you can. Remember, there's no need to knead when you make no-knead bread. That was just fun to say. So mix this guy up, or as we say here often, cats. But we don't know why we call everything cats. Got a lot of letters on calling things cats. Some people like it, some people don't. What's your opinion about me calling things cats? I like cats. I mean, don't get me wrong. Cats are some of my good friends. But I seem to call these things cats a lot while we're doing the cooking. So mix this up. And you can use another utensil if you want. You can even use your hand. But I'm using a chopstick because that's what I grabbed. Sometimes not the best idea. But we're stuck with what we do because we want to make things easy when we're here in the Cook Like a Bastard studio. Then once you get that mixed up a little bit more, just give it a couple twists with your hand. And then you're going to take a towel and cover it up for 8 to 12 hours. So go to work, go to sleep, go to school, go play, but you can't see this again for another 8 hours here on Cook Like a Bastard. Well, that was a quick 8 to 12 hours, wasn't it? Did you sleep? Did you go to work? What did you do during those hours? We spend our entire time setting up the studio because we don't do it as quick as we used to. So anyhow, here's what we're going to do. We're going to roll this stuff out. We're going to stretch it, put a little bit of flour on the counter, and get this thing out here. Then we're going to stretch this dough out. You know, kind of think you're making a pizza, only not, because you're not going to put pepperoni on it. So you stretch this out, roll it out till you feel like it's about the right size before you fold it in. And you can make it as thin or as thick as you want, kind of thinking that you want to fit it in the pan that you're going to bake it in. Now we're going to be putting this in a Pyrex pan, baking dish, but you can put in, you know, if you have an electricity pan or whatever you want, just it has to withstand a lot of heat. So we got this guy rolled out just a little bit, then you fold it in on itself. Remember, this folding is going to give the bread some of its shape, some of its substance, and also needs to fit in the pan, so don't make it too big when you're folding it. There you go. Then you just put it in your bowl. You're going to let this sit for another hour. Now remember, in a little bit, let's say about 10-15 minutes, you better think about turning your oven on because it has to get to 450 degrees. Then you put your baking dish in there because that has to be warm too, and that's really crucial to making this whole thing work. Now after you've had your dough sit for an hour, you're going to put it in your preheated pan. Now this pan is hot. Remember, 450 degrees is hot no matter what scale you're using it on. So we're going to take our dough here and put it right in this pan and cover it up. Now remember that hot part again. This is your warning. We're not responsible for burnt hands, fingers, or toes if you drop it. So you put this in the oven and you're going to put it in there for 30 minutes and then take off the lid and have it for another 15 minutes, and that's at 450 degrees. So after about 30 minutes, you need to take the lid off of the pan, and look at how beautiful this bread is so far. Imagine how beautiful it's going to get when it's done. Holy smokes. Keep the heat in. Okay, now the bread's been in the oven for another 15 minutes after you uncovered. That's for a total of 45 minutes. Okay, 45 minutes. It doesn't quite work with the gloves on, but trust me, if you saw my fingers, I'd have 45 of them up. And that's at 450 degrees Fahrenheit, or about 230 Celsius. I can't do the math that quickly. So let's take a look at what this beautiful loaf looks like. Sorry, little evil laugh, but evil laugh comes from good looking bread. Now this is a no-knead European style bread. We made this for Michael from the Czech Republic because he requested it. Now if you find something you want us to make, just drop us a line on our YouTube channel or at cooklikeabastard.com, and maybe you can have something at Cook Like a Bastard by request. Join us next time at Cook Like a Bastard.